Karen, Cardinal Pell was actually found guilty in December of last year. Why are we only hearing about this now?
Well, because it's been the subject of a very extensive suppression order here in Australia that covered not only the conviction but also the details of the charges and the existence of the suppression order. So we weren't even able to report the suppression order was in place. That is now being lifted today in the court in Melbourne, and we are now able to talk about those charges and the conviction.
What can you tell us about these offences?
They relate, as you heard then, to offences against two boys under the age of 16 in the St Patrick's Cathedral in Melbourne 22 years ago. Now, these young boys were in the cathedral. Cardinal Pell caught them apparently drinking the altar wine, and he then has now been convicted of abusing those boys. Now, he's been convicted of 1 count of sexual penetration of a child and 4 counts of committing an indecent act either on a child under 16 or in the presence of a child. Now, he has long said that he is innocent of these charges. There was a second set of charges that he was to have faced that were older than these ones, but those charges were withdrawn and that trial collapsed today, and this is the result that we're now seeing this suppression order lifted. I should say the original trial in the case of the St Patrick's Cathedral charges also collapsed when the jury could not reach a verdict, but a retrial in September last year led to the conviction.
Has there been any response from George Pell or his lawyers on this?
Well, George Pell was in the court this morning and has walked through a media scrum, a huge media scrum, to some shouting and abuse from the victims of sexual abuse, but he didn't speak. His lawyers have indicated, though, that he will appeal the conviction, and as I say, he's always insisted that he was innocent.
Karen, there was briefly some international reporting on his conviction in December, but this suppression order has really kept the news contained, particularly in Australia. How controversial was this suppression order in Australia?
Well, it was very controversial among the media because we were not able to report anything. So these trials have been underway for a year or more, and there's been able to be nothing said. I certainly haven't seen a suppression order this extensive before in my 30 years of reporting, but certainly this has been very controversial. And when it leaked out in December, it was certainly a frustration for Australian media that some internationally were reporting this, but Australian media were keeping it contained for the sake of justice and a fair trial for the Cardinal. He is the most senior Catholic to ever be convicted of this, so this will be a huge issue for the Catholic Church. And the Australian media were very conscious of its responsibility collectively, but it's certainly been controversial, and the extent of the reportage globally today shows you just how contained it has been.